Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to All Things Division 3 Soccer with Simple Coach and Jackie. I am Simple Coach. That there is Jackie, who's a little bit startled today because we got some thunder rolling through. Some thunder. Hey, it is July 4th as of this recording. I was kind of gearing up for some different things, and I decided to do a quick episode of Around D3 where I just sort of capture some news that I've been seeing over the past few weeks and bring them to you in a show. So I got some not so good news, got some sad news, got some other good news, and yeah, and I'm basically gearing up for the fall, right? On anti-social media, I'm seeing all the committed players and schools announcing who will be joining their programs. I'm seeing schedules being released, and quite frankly, I'm getting anxious. Got about a month and a half before players report to camp, so really getting excited here and starting to get into the fall season frame of mind. So, thanks for joining. Here we go. So let's start off with some not so great news. Sorry to say. You all know that we're losing three storied programs going into next year, that they're shutting their doors. So Finlandia, Cazenovia, and Madai will be shutting their doors this year, sadly. Got news just came out last week and a half ago, that Cabrini University is going to be sold to Villanova University, and Cabrini men's and women's programs and all athletics will be competing one last year as Cabrini, and thereafter it will be Villanova University's law school. Sadly, a fourth program that I'm aware of that we will be losing in the next year. So um, it's a shame because I have the gear and was wanting to do an interview. I also have um, the Fields of Dreams that I did from Cabrini, really unique school, but I guess COVID, the decline in enrollment, and sort of the typical stories that you're hearing out of these schools is no different at Cabrini than it was at Finlandia, Cazenovia, or Madai, and so just some an unfortunate turn of events. Having said that, do have some good news. Um, University of Wisconsin River Falls will be starting a men's soccer program. So they will be, along with baseball, they're adding men's soccer to their array of varsity sports. So that is definitely some really great news. Along with the University of Hartford will be officially a member of Division Three. They'd previously been a Division One school. I think the last year, maybe because of the transition, they didn't have the greatest of years. But in the fall, they will be joining the Commonwealth Coast Conference with the likes of Endicott, Roger Williams, Western New England, Suffolk, Nichols, Gordon, Wentworth, Curry, and University of New England. So losing some, adding a couple, which is always great to see. Salve Regina, that was part of the CCC, is actually moving to the new MAC, which allowed Hartford to join the Commonwealth Coast Conference. So, another news: a school that was looking to become Division Three, an outstanding NCCAA school, Bob Jones University, that I think just last year won the national championship, has since pulled back from going to Division III, and will remain a NCCAA school. The what I had read is that they were struggling to find a conference to join that would have been acceptable to them. So anyhow, shame, because I do know, again, as a Christian college in the NCCAA, they follow a tradition as storied as Messiah's, and in some respects took the baton from them when Messiah went to Division III. So they will not be joining Division III. Oh well. When I was going through the recruiting process, you got some phone calls, you sent and received a whole bunch of letters, maybe got a t-shirt in the mail, and then maybe, if you were lucky, you went on a college visit. And that's how I landed at University of Mount Union, just through happenstance. The better way is if you were recommended by a friend who went to school, you had a high school coach or a club coach who knew somebody, you were seen if you were lucky enough to play on a pretty competitive high school team, or you went to one of the few club tournaments around there. I mean, the Pocono Cup was the place to play back in the 80s. But truth be told, nowadays you're competing for roster spots with guys you've never seen, you've never played against, you don't know, and can be from anywhere across the country. So you have to have your own recruiting process button tight if you want to land a roster spot. And this, the college recruiting process can be pretty overwhelming. There's a ton of paid services out there that do what they do, but truth be told, you don't necessarily need them to get recruited. You could do it all yourself. Unfortunately, there's tools out there. So one of those tools, and a great starting point, is to check out Discover College Soccer Study Table. Now, I've interviewed Matt Baer, who's the founder of Discover College Soccer, before. Really great guy, and you've probably seen his podcast. I've referred to it and recommend anybody to go to check out his interviews with coaches at all levels, that is specifically designed to talk about the recruiting process and the different college programs. He's not talking about them himself, he's letting the coaches speak. So with all of that information that he's gathered, he's put together this study table that is a program to help you with your recruiting process, that's complete with video course on the recruiting process from start to finish. He has these that are updated spreadsheets that are updated monthly, with contact information and details about every program in the country. That alone is worth its weight in salt. He has a bunch of other resources, email templates, checklists to help you guide you through your own process. Now, the best part is, whereas you can pay thousands of dollars to some of these recruiting services, you can get a lifetime subscription to the study table for less than one night in a tournament hotel. The best part of it is that Matt has his own soccer experience. He's a former college player and college coach. He's talked to over 150 coaches in just the last year, and he has some great insights and has created something that I think is probably very, very useful to a lot of you, and best of all, you get to save time and save money. Now look, I don't recommend people that I don't know or I haven't come to know. I've talked to Matt, as I mentioned, on a number of occasions, and he's probably has the most insightful and, I'll just say, thorough understandings of the recruiting process. Not because he's made it up, but because he's asked coaches across the college game. And he's taken all of that figured out what the best recommendations from all of those discussions that he has, and put that together into the study table. So if you don't want to spend thousands on recruiting, on a recruiting service, and you have the mind to do it yourself, the Discover College Soccer Study Table is for you. So in the description, you can find a link that will get you 20% off on a lifetime subscription. Or if you go to discovercollegesoccer.com, click on the study table to register and use the discount code SIMPLE, you get to save 20% on your subscription. So with that, good luck. All right, so how excited am I? I'm already starting to fill up my calendar for games that for the first weekend that I will be able to catch or want to catch for a variety of reasons. You know, there are some great games that are starting that'll be kicking off the season that I just makes me super excited. So, you know, on September 1st, I got 3 games that how can I miss? National champions Chicago face off against St. Olaf at St. Olaf. And so that's a humdinger if I've ever seen one. Another one on September 1st makes me want to drive out to Ada, Ohio to see the Kenyan men's team, who will have a new coach by then, face off against Ohio Northern. And like I said, at Ada, Ohio. And then another game that I would love to go see is on the women's side, Susquehanna versus Misericordia at Misericordia. Both teams with some outstanding seasons. That I'm sure this will be a great competitive match to open it up. So on September 2nd, I got a game that that I think is going to be a pretty interesting matchup against 2 distinct teams. Catholic University will be hosting Messiah in DC, and I'm interested to see how Messiah looks coming off of that. But I still think it was an outstanding season last year, and I would have tabbed as one of the 2 best teams still in the country. Just remarkable, along with Chicago, obviously. And I was hoping that would have been the final, because I think it would have been a really interesting matchup. So that's on September 2nd. On September 3rd, I'm probably going to have to do a lot of driving. On the women's side, you have Johns Hopkins facing off against Scranton at Johns Hopkins. You have Mary Washington facing Johns Hopkins at Mary Washington on the men's side. Again, Mary Washington making it to the semis, and Johns Hopkins with the outstanding season that they had as well. So that should be a pretty crazy game. And then again, another September 3rd matchup against 2 outstanding teams. Case Western, the runners-up on the women's side, facing off against the outstanding women's team at Ohio Northern. So I'm not saying that one of these games is going to make my game of the week, but they're definitely in the running. So I'm going to have to sort that out, which is, by the way, something I will be doing. So once we get closer, I think I'll do a game of the week segment where I just talk about the 2 teams that make my game of the week. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Finally, this is the sort of thing that I hate doing. I've had to do it a couple times already. That just coincidentally, the timing of it, and I'm sure some of you have seen the news. Sad news, and you hate to see it for such a young guy. Melvin Molina, the outstanding midfielder for Concordia University, passed away a couple weeks ago. Um, you, you know, such a bright light taken so early is sad for everyone. So, I've said it before. I believe in the power of prayer. So I hope those of you so willing and able to say some prayers for Melvin Molina, the Concordia University community, and of course his family. Um, he left an indelible mark on the field, on the program, and all of Concordia, and I'm sure those who knew him, he will be sadly missed. So, with that, I think I'll wrap up today, and yeah, prayers out to the Molina family and Concordia University. See you next time.